Trump speech poem. Mighty tower of light, Olympus has not fallen. The people's palace shall stand, glorious all through the night. Shield on my chest I serve, justice mustn't stop its fight, because the enemy won't dare stand for what's right. Fear to support law and order, the tools that count are the people leading ahead of the storm. Falling off the horse, you must get back on again. Protests can turn to riots in a blink of an eye. The slaughter of young people just the day after high school, shooting at toddlers. Don't babies' lives matter too? The real crime is to do nothing. Lawless doesn't rest for questions. Our way of life is always blessed when those who stand alone stand together. We must all stand as a band of brothers and sisters, black and white, white and black, black and white, bipolar, manic, manic, bipolar. Love crazy, love crazy, love crazy, crazy love. God breathes life into us. He's in the details too. He breathes in the details. We are all children of the light. No, there's a master plan. Earth will always be my favorite place. But no, our destiny is outer space. Depravity and fear is the devil's plaything. Instead, we must broker an everlasting peace. Their vision of everything wasn't enough. I look at the moon. I promise her. I do everything to bring her home. I am not breaking down. I am not falling in. We cross party lines. I am not a ghost of myself. I am free. You can never imprison my mind. I need to keep hope alive. God knew my name. Even in my darkest hour, I am using my voice to tell my story. Real justice reform is to hug your loved ones again. 22 years in prison, I knew for every grain of sand in all the oceans and all the lands, there was a star up above me. Please take action. For that, I will ever be grateful. The pain of the truth brings tears to my eyes. Down in my soul, packed in their lies, I cast the might of God's eyes, and in their very sadness, all I could do was a whisper, why? I won't be comforted with all the swamp creatures, but before we begin, know that no one was surprised. I am the defender of common sense. If only everyone could see the kids speak the trust, and in the land of the blind, don't campaign for promises of problems. Instead, fix them when you can. Voices in the wilderness, set the forest ablaze. Future and greatness, school of thought is a matter of choice. Every day is building. Workers knew the way. With a tear in their eyes, fight for far more. Such a short span of time to lapse. Rock the boat, have the guts not to kick the can. Deal with their liking, and they are for the loving. No job is worth it if you can't come home. Stand up in the front lines. Lives have been stolen. There's no lie about that. The word impossible is only a great motivation to me. Those who can see the path many moves ahead aren't just the Jedi Master. They are also the taskmaster. They set all the tasks. Those that demand you empty your pockets, rob you blind, and leave you for dead. Fight it for what it is right. Mean to be right tight against the horror of the hordes. Those who travel in flesh have no humanity in their hearts. Defining the stance of the peace is always phenomenal. Love is the fearless in the face of nothingness, and having the constitution of no blindness. Storms wash over us. More powerful than over 155 years, I stand humble in the joy that resides in the nation's countryside. To my brothers and sisters, I stand with you now in the art of the negotiation. Those that won't yield for a moment can never reach new heights. Take pride in history. Facts mustn't be cloaked in darkness. Instead, we must rally for a bigger future. Search the earth for uncharted land and save our nation. I implore you to understand. Any course of inaction will force us to disband. When faced with invisible enemy, many more than we will ever know, we must carry God's blessing and live all our lives in His eyes. History knows not criticism. The choice of the matter is earth and storm. Don't give in to their criminality or in their deformity. To a free of thought be based on nothing but the wickedness of delusion. Faith in what is excellence is what's not to be dismissed. Don't sit by as young soldiers bleed out. Don't let the best of the brightest die for nothing, just an afterthought. Anger is turned on its head when American takes a path that is divinely first. We use walls to keep the people safe, not to punish and prosecute those who remain in. Those that demand we imprison our minds, we know that meaning of sin and the collapse of the jobs market, the flooding of cheap labor keeps the nation flush with bickering. Most of all, increasing lopsided grin of imbalances, the rich and the poor. Some are always happy to stand while others beg on the floor. Short-sightedness in the squabbles. Flash forward, we will settle the score. With the galaxy will be our open door. Space armadas as far as the eye can see. Peace through stellar battle cruisers. All terrorism is soundly subjugated. Crime and poverty, all a thing of the past. What a future that we can truly last. But China needs to be opposed. I am not given a helpful hand. As one nation, we mourn and grieve because of the coronavirus, even when some didn't wish to admit that. We don't tell you. We don't want you to know. History shows lies will be with us. Science in history, when done right, scatters lies like cockroaches when you switch open the kitchen at midnight. Be wary of those who pretend to be an ally of the light, but in their hearts are agents of darkness. If you can't keep the light on, you got to be crazy too, or crazy. Give everything away, and you have nowhere to stand. Be warned, that's what's promised, as then there is no surprise. When it's said and done, you can remove God from the text, but you can never from the moral coil. The attacks on the safety occur when you cancel the police and release the criminal. No man's land is seemingly beautiful, yet the leadership is rotten to the core. Fires only need to keep the cold out in the winter, not the mayhem in. With everlasting war on the courthouses and law and order, wrongdoings must be accountable, never allowed to rob the rule of shining the light on the darkness, leave no one behind, nothing but shadows in your wake, never too late to say you're for justice. Don't pretend to care when the crowd won't support your craziness, when the fate of the world is at stake. 9 numbing radicals leave very little behind. Cancel culture is a wasteland where what you want is false, is true. Weakness drives cities to the ground, talking choice, while giving all the choice to them. Not everyone is fit for leadership. No superpower is forever timeless. No business has tomorrow in its promise. Lines can always be broken when our values are whittled away. Enforce the law. Don't embrace an agenda. While politics can be a fool's errand, breaking records of the past make my day. We'll land a woman on the moon. Some might not call my gusto brave, and classify me a loon. But this is just the American way. Everyone can rise. We sail across a great ocean. We lived in darkness for eons. We lived without a beacon. Now we have a mighty lighthouse. We set our wagons out to the west. Homesteads on the open range. Americans build our future. They do not tear down their past. We set the trends in art, film, sports, but we don't stop there. We reach the skies and stars. Americans will be a mighty beam of light. We are greatness itself. We are greatness itself. We are greatness itself. Those that follow in our footsteps will shudder in delight. We will make the world prouder. The grateful they knew us when. Our spark of greatness is what we all begin. History doesn't know what will hit them yet. By God, it shall be grand.